multiple times.
Wow.
That's dangerous, and I'm telling you, once you hit one of them kids, it's gonna be something serious. Yes, ma'am? There's no crosswalk, but let me tell you, when we go to court over that, and they ask you, did that bus have that arm out? None of that's gonna matter. I know, Stephen, they're working on the lines. Some of the lines we've already placed down, yes? And it's gonna get better. But my concern is, when that bus stops, please, guys. Second thing, these dump trucks, they get out of control sometime. I'm asking for your help. If you see me coming, get out of the way. I'm going to get him. A lot of y'all, I don't know if y'all helping him. Get out the way. You know who I'm going to get. All right? Listen, I appreciate you guys. Let's ask some good, important questions. One of the most important things is, I got you, is everybody please listen. It's no reason in here we need to ask the same question 3 times. Honestly, let's get out of here and avoid this weather. Everybody put your ears on. Let's ask some important questions. It's important to me because I live here. I want y'all to ask the questions. And most important of all, let's have respect, because we've all heard, ain't no need of shooting the messenger. He can't make the law. He's only delivering what his bosses are telling him. That's the real, okay? Let's everybody be disrespectful, not disrespectful. Sir, did you have something?
Yeah, just a point on the bus drivers. It works
Yes.
both ways.
Mm-hmm.
We witnessed a bus driver coming from the Haines City direction in the turning lane. We had the green arrow.
Okay, just so I want to make sure. So we're not in Providence. We're out on the main
We're on-
street.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
He blew through it and tailed me all the way towards the gate. He swung off to the swing gate. He plowed through that, and before he even stopped, and before the other car stopped, he was putting on his stop sign, and the cars were still rolling. He's got to wait until he sees no activity.
Right.
And it almost caused an accident because in front of ABD were 2 trucks, and he had to swerve around them.
Right.
So it works both ways.
It does. And the only thing I'll add to that, there's idiots in every profession. That's a fact. That's a fact. And the way they're hiring bus drivers right now, in their need, and I would even say it's somewhat in law enforcement, where we don't have the quality fiber in every job that we used to have. The people that have the grit, the people that have the fortitude, the people that have the dedication. Right now, we're getting whoever wants this job right now. And that's in society. But I agree with you. All right? I don't want to hold any much more time. I want you guys to start your meeting. Please ask the most important questions that you need to ask. With no further ado, the man himself, Bruce Lee. No, I'm just kidding. Steven.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
My name is
evening.
Stephen Lim, as some of you might know. So we'll start the meeting. If you have any questions to answer, and to ask, just pull on the podium and then state your name and the address, and just ask a question, and then we'll answer it best we can. So we'll start the meeting.
Stephen, are you gonna start with the list we sent you?
No, that's just your feedback. Obviously, if you have any questions, this is time for you to ask them.
I'm Debbie Thompson. I live in Cortland. Hi, can you hear me now? Is it on? Hello. Hey, I'm Debbie Thompson. I live on Cortland. My question is, because all our roads are narrow, why isn't one side of the street all red so there's no parking? Because the other day, I was going down the other end of Cortland, and I had maybe this much room on each side of my car, and I have a small car, to get through. Especially on yard sale day. If no parking on one side of the road, I think it would be a lot safer for a lot of people.
I'm sorry, you're asking no
My
street-
question is, why can't we have one side of the street with no parking at all times?
So if I'm not mistaken on HOA documents, that's not stated. So if you were to change the rules on that, you had to make addendum to change the documents. And that's not something, I don't think that's feasible, to change something and add those things and items, because only the street overnight parking is prohibited on the documents, and that's what we enforce between 1 and 6. So, but again, that's something I could look into.
I appreciate
But
it.
if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that easily
Okay,
is changed.
because, I mean, how many people have gone down their streets and you have this much room to get
Burt, Camden Park. Two questions. Number one, can we have the buses, the school buses, do the pickup and drop off at the clubhouse? Because as the community grows, it's too much in the front. It's very dangerous. And then secondly, when and where is the basketball court coming?
Yes.
So the first question is about the bus stop. So stops are controlled by the Polk County School. So they're the one that decide where they're gonna drop off the kids. So it's not really up to us to ask them.
Could we ask them? Would
Yes,
it?
you can certainly
So if
ask
they
them.
say yes, then it could happen?
Yes.
Okay.
So the bus stop really has nothing to do with the HOA. We give them the right of entry to come in. So the stops are obviously up to the school.
Okay.
The second question's on, well, the basketball courts. So on the new neighborhood, what we call Garden Hills, we have a bid lot. We're gonna build new amenity, which such as like basketball courts, tennis court with the pickle courts. I believe there's gonna be a dog park. And actually it's gonna be built by Lennar, not the ABD. So they are currently working on the designs of it, and Lennar is gonna build it.
Okay.
Do you know when the completion is gonna be?
It'll be a dog park, it'll be basketball courts, it'll be a tennis courts with pickle courts in it. But if you have any question, if you don't mind, so everybody could hear you, come to the podium.
They promised us a walking trail, basketball courts, volleyball courts last year, if I recall.
No,
A walking trail?
No, I don't think so, sorry.
I tried.
Any questions, please go up, and then, so everybody could hear you.
Can you see them? No.
Hi, my name is Julie Hart, and I would like to, I have a question regarding the second entrance, but I'm not gonna get into the security of it, the gate down, the electricity, any of that. My question is, when I first moved here, there was a number of accidents at the Rotary, and we did a series of things ending up with stop signs at the Rotary. Currently, coming in from the second entrance now, that's a yield. And I'm guessing, just a guess, that people, when they're adjusting to people coming in from there, are gonna expect that they're stopping as well. Is that something we would consider making all entrances to the Rotary the same?
So I will give you an update on second entrance. I got a lot of questions about what's coming and whatnot. So the past couple months, Duke Energy has been working to connect the power. So they give us, I believe, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it'll be a couple weeks, the power will be connected. Once power is connected, as obviously the guardhouse is finished, and we'll open the guardhouse partially. So you will have a part-time person working at the guardhouse in the morning to have all the construction trucks come to the second entrance. As far as a yield sign and a stop sign, we do have a engineer to work on a traffic study, and we're hoping to get that answer within the next couple of weeks.
Just so there's consistency
Yes,
amongst all the
and then for us as well, you know, we need to have someone engineer to confirm it before we change the sign.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Hold on. I definitely want to add to yours. Florida statute wise, because that's a good question. If you're on a roadway, and whether it's a straight road, perpendicular, circle that you're coming into, if there is already traffic on the road that you're about to enter into, they have that right of way. You can't come in and disturb traffic anytime on a new roadway. So let's all remember that. If it's stop signs on two and, excuse me, stop signs on two and yields on the other, whatever vehicles are in that circle at that moment, as you enter into that circle, they have the right of way. You cannot disturb that traffic, all right?
Yeah, 2260 Grafton. Regarding the roundabout, is that gonna remain there once that?
Yes, roundabouts
So
will
it's
remain
gonna
the same,
there?
yes.
Okay.
Hello. Last year, you mentioned a second internet provider would be available when you were working on a contract. Any update on that?
So yes, so our second provider that we work with is called Summit Broadband. So we gave them a right of entry and we gave them a contract to sign it. They haven't signed it, so we're just waiting for them to respond. So I can't give you a deadline because they're the one that have to sign it. From our end, we basically give them the right to come in and provide the service. So that's currently what's standing.
What was the name again?
Summit Broadband.
Broadband.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alicia Humphreys, Lakeside Villas. I was just wondering, are there going to be actual people at the second entrance for the guards?
Eventually, you have a full-time person there. In the beginning, because of budget issues, you will have a part-time person maybe from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then eventually be a full-time and then 24 hours.
Okay, thank you, because it affects our insurance rates, whether they're people or not.
Yes, okay. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to come up and everybody could hear you.
Nobody knows. Okay.
Hi, I submitted a question to you about the landscapers that when they mow along the pool, the ponds, they blow dirt and grass in our pools. They go like it's like the Indy 500. They're just racing around and racing around. And I called you guys about, I don't want to re-clean my pool. They get all that stuff in my pool. Could they talk to them about going the opposite way so they blow the dirt in the pond? I mean, it's just. they
Yes,
do it
I
all
saw
the
the
time.
questions and I'll let the landscaping manager know. Susie, write that for me. Yes.
Jeffrey from Drayton Woods. My question is there a part of the Providence where I like to throw football with my son, fly a kite? Are there any open spaces that are reserved for residents or no? And the second question is, I mean, I've addressed this a couple of times, the soap in the men's room. I mean, we used to have an actual dispenser, and now we have this soap from, and right now it's filled with water and soap. I mean, I don't even know if that's even sanitary. Can we have something consistent, to wash our hands versus, it being there and it not being there, so.
To answer your first questions about like a football field, so that the new amenity center by the Garden Hills, they have a big enough space for like, if I'm not mistaken, like a baseball field. They haven't decided, I don't think there'll be a football field, but there will be some type of area that you can play around with your kids.
Okay.
Second question about the soap in the gym, I'll take care of it tomorrow, I promise.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Laura. I'm in Camden Park. We have a difficult time with parking, really small driveways. Do you guys ever allow any on-street parking back in Camden? I know some sections have no parking, some have one side, I've seen two cars on different sides. I just know I've always stayed in my driveway, but I'm hearing neighbors getting towed now back in Camden. So we're vigilant about watching for it and letting our neighbors know, but we've got a preserve in front of us. Nothing's gonna be built there. And we just didn't know, are we be able to park on one side of the street?
So unfortunately in your case, because the HOA kind of works for every single house, so we have a rule for no street parking between 1 to 6 a.m. Obviously that won't change, but I want to let you know during the holiday season, like Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas, we do allow for street parking,
Okay.
just for those holidays. But as far as letting people park on the streets, I don't think that will change, just because it has to be applied for the every homes.
Okay. And if we have a unexpected guest come late at night, I'm not sure, where should we direct them to park? I mean, normally we would ask a neighbor or something, but are they allowed to park like in the community club center, or will they get towed if there's nothing, like a parking permit or something?
So if you have a guest over late at nighttime, you can advise the guest to park at the clubhouse and then have that person come by the golf course clubhouse and pay the fee the next day, because the clubhouse parking lot is owned by the course, so they have a daily fee to park there. But they won't tow if you just park there for one night. But just make sure to stop by the clubhouse and let them know and pay the fee.
Oh, okay, perfect,
Yep.
thank you.
Gordon Giffen from Lakeside. Do you have any update on when the HOA will actually be turned over to the residents? Like, is it this year, or you're applying for an extension to keep hold of it for a bit longer?
So HOA will turn over to the residents once the 90% of lots are sold. At 50%, there will be an election to elect one of the resident board member. And then sometime early next year, HOA is going to send out election procedure and sort of a guideline how we're going to take care of that. That's going to take place probably the first quarter of next year.
So you're getting close to turnover date?
Now again, the actual turnover of the HOA is at 90% when the lots are sold.
Where are you now?
I think we're about 1960 homes, and there's about 4,800 lots.
Okay, so is it
Well, right now
likely
it's
to
about
be
40%.
before the end of next year?
No, so
Okay.
there's about 40% of lots now. It needs to be at 90% to be turned over.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Stephen. Patrick from Camden Park. I have two questions. First, the HOA restriction where it's 5% of each section is allowed to be rentals. Are there any plans on changing that, or is that still being enforced?
As far as a rental cap,
Yes.
no, they will most likely will stay the same.
Perfect. And then also in the backside between Hampton and Camden, there's been a lot of speeding lately. Is there any way to potentially look at a stop sign or speed bumps or anything in the back? Because we have the roundabout at the front, but once you get further back, there's nothing to prevent people from going 40, 45 miles an hour.
If you don't mind, would you mind sending the area to me in my email? And
Absolutely.
I'll take a look at it.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen.
How do you monitor how many rentals are in the community to allow it to stay at 5%?
Hi, my name's Andrew Wilson. I'm on Preston. Do you send out notifications when you're going to be spraying the ponds? And if not, is it possible to do that? Because we could take our pets inside and make sure we're not out there. Because with the wind blowing, you can get a good lungful of that stuff, and I prefer not to.
I'll ask the company. There's about 30 ponds in the phase 1 of Providence, so it's a little bit difficult to know when they come. I know they come Monday and Fridays to spray them, but I'll definitely ask the company.
If they could even post it on, just a website or something somewhere, then we could at least check it, and then we'd be responsible for it, but at least we'd know. I think it'd be nice if they could.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Again, 2260 Grantham Avenue. How do you monitor the amount of rentals that are in the community to allow it to stay at 5% or whatever the percentage is?
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of background on how the rentals works. So if a homeowner wants to rent their house, they typically need to send us an email, let us know they're renting. To actually keep the restriction of 5% is very difficult because once the homeowner signs a lease with the tenants, it's very hard for us to terminate the lease. So a couple years ago, HOA looked into a rental approval, meaning that any rental needs to be approved by the HOA. So unfortunately, last minute, attorney sort of advised that it wasn't a good idea because in cases that someone applies for the rental with Providence and doesn't get accepted, there could be a little bit of housing issues. And I guess there's some cases where HOA lost in those cases. So we sort of kind of threw out the rental approval process. This is something we're keeping eyes on just because right now, housing market-wise, there's a lot of investors, a lot of big companies are buying companies. So we are internally noting on there, and then we sort of notify the homeowner of that. We are internally talking about maybe releasing the percentage to the residents to a newsletter to let them know what the percentage there are. But that's something we are, just because every single resident has to come to the clubhouse and register. So that's how we kind of track the percentage. Yeah.
Hello, I live in Heritage Green, and I'm just wondering, is there any way to ensure that the guards that are at the gates will make sure that they call the residents before people come? We've been surprised several times by people who have just been let through, and we weren't expecting them at that time or probably at all. So, it's getting a little annoying. I'm just wondering if there's something that can be done to assure that they do that.
So inside the guardhouse, there's a camera, and also there's a voice monitor they monitor. So in cases that, let's say you have an unexpected guest came, if you just let our office know the time and the date, what happened, they'll actually check the cameras and advise the guards. Because they're basically 24 hours a day, they're getting monitored, even with their voice. So that's something we can look into. You just have to let us know the time and the date, and then we can check it out.
Okay, because it was as recent as last night that they said have a good day, and we were like, what?
Yeah, we definitely need to know that. And the security company could check on it, so just let our office know and we can check on it for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lorraine. I live on Brunswick Drive. I had this question last year and I hoping they were gonna follow up. I know someone had asked about internet. When we moved in, we got internet through Frontier, but they shut down cable at that time. And I know you guys said last year that they were looking into a cable service. Just wondering where that's at.
So cable service wise, no. Unfortunately, at this point now, we're not looking. We just provide, only looking at the internet provider.
So how about people that are moving in down in Camden? There's just internet down there as well?
It's only internet only. If you obviously need to get a...
Because we have a streaming service and it stinks.
Yeah.
We pay a lot of money for it.
So from my understanding of cable service, it's sort of time of the past. Everybody's just looking for faster internet and everybody's just streaming. And even a lot of companies that we spoke to, as far as the internet companies goes, they pretty much got rid of their cable services.
My parents are down outside of Tampa. They all have cable down there through Spectrum, so
So
not
just-
everybody's going to that.
No, so give you an idea on a Spectrum and Comcast. So we obviously look into those two companies. The problem is just because the area that we live in with a lot of short-term rental neighborhoods, they're still pushing cable and internet service be part of your HOA payment. So we haven't been able to kind of convince them to just offer internet service to the community. So that's the backstory of the Comcast and Spectrum. That they're still pushing packages sort of part of your HOA payments. And obviously that's not something we're interested in.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name's Calvin. I'm in Chelsea Woods. The lake that's right at the front behind Chadwick is overgrown with lily pads. Do they have plans to have the gentleman come back out with the thing and continue removing it? Because I mean, it's horrible. And we see a lot of things come out of there. And I have no issues with them, but this leads into my second question. What's the policy on trappers? Because honestly, we need the alligators and people need to stop having them removed, because I've seen diamondbacks, I've seen water moccasins, and the alligators deal with it. Can they stop letting the security allow the trappers to come in without permission? Because it's just gonna create a bigger issue for us. And last question, the water fountain that's at the front, has the breaker been repaired?
Okay, so you have three questions.
Three questions.
Yes. The first question is, do you live in Chelsea where we mechanically removed the ponds removals recently?
Yes, I saw that.
Yes. So we have some permitting issues on what they did, so we are looking into a different vendor to have it finished. So that takes a little bit of time because that's very specific type of work that people
Well,
do.
the part they did looks good, but they need to finish it.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not that easy just because of the construction portions of it. I believe second question, you're asking to move alligators without any approvals?
Right, I've been seeing a lot of alligators get picked up by trappers, and
We need it.
isn't that like against the rules? Like you need special permission from the HOA for that?
Yes, so easy alligator removal, before the trappers come, HOA office has to give approval for them to come and remove it. And each cases have a reference number.
Okay.
And third question for you, I believe water fountain is working, but if I'm not mistaken, you wanted to fix the lights inside the
Right,
fountain.
the light.
Yes, I did send the email, but these days it's very slow, so I'll do a follow-up on that.
Okay.
Yep.
It's me again. My question is, the front looks really nice for Christmas, but is it possible to leave some of the lights up year-round? Because trying to come into here, it's really dark, and trying to find a road is kind of scary.
So that's something we are working on just because we don't have any lights in the front. So what you see in the Christmas decoration, that's basically running extension from the guardhouse. This year we actually added some outlets with electrician. I heard some comments about the lights in the front is too there's not enough lights. So we are working on to having some type of electricity to have permanent lighting in the front. Yes.
You guys said the lights aren't on tonight.
Hi, I'm on Camden, but I have a question about the sprinklers that are running down Providence Boulevard that are broken. And there's like one or two of them that have been like this for months. And I know your maintenance works days, no one works nights in the general sense. So how do we as residents notify you, except by email? Or is there like a website that we can go to that we can fill out a trouble ticket or something like that that allows us to put in for telling them? And how do you determine what the location is so they know exactly where the location is?
So typically, there's no other system that you can submit other than you email into our office. And basically what we do is we forward it to the irrigation manager to take a look at it. Obviously, on the email, if you just let us know the location, and then at that flow to find it. So I understand the phase one especially, you have a lot of irrigation problems, and it's on a well water, and then we get fined if it's irrigation running at nighttime. So if you just notice something, just let us know, and then we'll forward it.
I'll offer you something. You might want to start looking at smart sheets or something like that, which creates forms, and that then everybody in the area can actually fill out a form for you, and you don't have to get your email box kind of screwed up, and then it then populates emails to other people.
Okay, I'll definitely look into it.
Okay.
Anthony Coloraffi, Lexington Avenue. I have a few questions. One is, we were told that that second entrance was going to be open March of '23. Could you give us an estimate of when it will really be open? And what is holding it up? Because I've heard all kinds of stories about we're 1 foot too close to a property line. I've heard other stories about we can't do it until another builder builds his houses. So what's the story on?
You talking about the second entrance?
Yeah, when's it supposed to actually open?
You want to answer this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Brown with ABD. You all couldn't be here tonight, so I am Yuval for all of you. It should be open by Christmas. We've been waiting on Duke Energy for 13 months. They've been paid 13 months ago. So all the delays, we're as frustrated as you guys are, and we should have power to the transformer this week. And once we have power, we can finish it and we can get it open.
Now, I also see that there's a $394,000 charge to run the main gate entrance on the budget. Is that second thing 2 years from now going to cost us another $394,000 to have that fully guarded?
So you're asking about the entry service, correct?
Yes.
So the what you see is actually nothing changed. It's just the car is getting the rates to match the market rates. As far as having a full-time 24-hour guard, it costs $250,000. So that's the reason why we are having someone part-time, it'd be a full-time, and then it would be full 24 hours.
That could substantially raise our homeowners association rate another $250,000.
We hope not, but obviously that's the hard cost, to have someone there 24 hours.
Okay, and the front entrance, why did it take like 9 months to do that job? I hear that the road has to be expanded, but we were 1 foot in the wrong direction somewheres. And that was the main reason why we had to redo that whole front for 9 months.
No, so basically 1792 is going to extend to 4 lanes. So they basically
The whole
not-
thing? Is it gonna be the whole thing, or just in front of us?
I don't know the plan. So basically that's what they told the developer, they're going to expand to 4 lanes. So again, that's not part of the HOA, it's not the one that HOA paid for. That's something they built it in. So I don't know why it took very long time, but that was the reason because of the 1972 extension.
I also see that.
Also, we try, I mean, the front entrance is 16 years old, 17 years old. We did our best to try to match the old with the new, and we waited and waited, as you guys all know, with supply chains and all the troubles that everybody has with building things. We waited for supplies, we waited for pavers. Eventually we changed the design. It was changed several times so that, you know, we eventually gave up on trying to make it look exactly like the front. So, but that we were, for years, the developer, we were paying rent to, because we were in the right of way, basically. The developer was, ABD was, and now that we know that they're expanding to 4 lanes, that's when they said you need to back it up.
Can you explain also why the second section is going to be $75,000 more in maintenance than the first section? If you look at the budget, you see, phase 1 and phase 2, it's going up to something like $375,000 when it was $280 on the last year. And I can understand why it would go up.
No,
But why
so-
is it now going to be like $75,000 more than the maintenance in the first section?
So you probably noticed phase 1 hasn't changed in a while because that's sort of a lock price.
Right.
Phase 1 and phase 2 is the same size. So next year, once they open up the Garden Hills, that's what we consider phase 3. So that's part of it.
That's figuring in on that phase 2.
Yeah, because you already maxed out as right now as a phase 2. So that's kind of part of it. And to be honest, that's going to be going over quite a bit of that.
And the last question I have is, what looks great is trees and grass and front gates, and that's what makes a development. But also, power washing is the one thing that's going down in that budget. And I don't understand why we would go down from 25,000 to 1/5 that amount.
So power washing, we do a whole boulevard power washing on every single blocks of sidewalks, and that's done every 2 or 3 years. So that's why you see the changes.
From 25,000 in 23 to only 5,000 in 24. It means
Yes.
24 we're not going to be doing it.
So we're not doing it this year because we did it this year. So it's cost about $22,000 to power wash from the front to the
Nobody
clubhouse.
came down Lexington Avenue this year to do any power washing, I can tell you.
Not
that
on
for
the
sure.
Lexington Avenue, on the main boulevard.
Oh, the main boulevard.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Karen from Camden Park Circle. Now, I've been living in Providence since 2010, and I would say we do live in one of the best developments. But this summer, I've raised my children, now my grandchildren are visiting, but this summer, the pool hours were totally unacceptable. They were closing too early. Now, in the summertime, especially on weekends, they have swimming lessons. So, you try to give the little swimmers their chance to get their thing done. And then we also now have vacationers who use the pool. So sometimes you go for a later swim, but they were closing very early. Why is that?
So pool closes obviously seasonally, and it's basically a county law to close the pool when the sun is down. But what was the time that was
Sun
closed
didn't
early?
go down until about 8:39, but they were closing like 7?
No, during the summertime, we open until 9, right?
No, not this summer, no. They were closing earlier.
I'll definitely check
Yeah,
on that. I will be
please.
sure of that, yes.
And Stephen, I did complain to you a lot, my name is Karen, about the trees and stuff. And I must say, you did work on them for me. I saw it, and I went around, I saw the grasses being watered, so yes, my emails and my voice was heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible to get umbrellas for the lounge chairs at the pool?
The main pool?
Yes. There's like no covering. So the sun is just beating down on you. It'd be nice to have umbrellas next to each lounge chair.
Oh, you want more umbrellas?
There's no umbrellas.
There's umbrellas on the pool.
No, that's at the tables. I said the lounge chairs.
Oh, okay. We'll look into it.
And then the other thing is, with the new entrance, is there a plan to get even a back entrance?
No.
So we're just gonna have two in the entire community?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you see.
Evening, Steve Small, Hanoi Terrace. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking care of us and thank you for your notes tonight. Brilliant. I travel down the boulevard early mornings, late nights, all sorts of hours. I cheat. I put my cruise control on at 33 miles an hour, but you didn't hear that. But the amount of people that come past is ridiculous. Somebody needs to think about it, not just the children, just everybody. Just be sensible. Few comments. I think we live in a great development. I think the developer is mellowing a little. I've been involved with Providence since 2006, 2007, so I'm not new to it. Yuval selected a board member 10 years ago. It came to nothing. Now, it'd be great. We should have some representation. Everybody should have a say. If you've got one person on the board that can bring everybody's comments together, rather than have, I don't know, 2,000 people chasing you with email, it's got to help. It's got to be better for everybody. It's a work in progress. I accept that. That's fine, and we look forward to that happening maybe next year. The other thing, which is, you'll say it's nothing to do with you. I believe it's to do with the developer. Why can we not have a clubhouse that provides us more facilities? They close at 3 o'clock every day.
You talking about a golf course?
Yeah, a golf club. It's part of Providence. It's called a country club. Now, my experience of a country club is a country club. It allows residents, visitors to go there. It's not just a golf club. Why can't we get some great functions? Don't need a lot, just a few. Last year we had a phenomenal Halloween. Great. This year it was cancelled 2 weeks early because nobody put up. Nobody wanted to pay the money in advance. It's a funny thing in service. People will come if you provide the service. If you're arrogant and do not provide the service, guess what? People don't come. It's just a facility there. Why do we have to drive 4 or 5 miles down to Champions Gate where we've got a whole load of restaurants and put ourselves in danger because maybe we do have a drink and Officer Rice is waiting for us? Because he'll be there. Why can't we have more professional help from the clubhouse? I know it's the golf course, I know it's ABD, but it's on site. That is a gold mine. And you guys, I don't know whether you're not interested or don't care. I'll rest my case. Thank you.
Hello.
Wait, we want a response to the last question.
At the end of the day, it's a business, right? We gotta make a profit. Yeah, absolutely, it's a business. So the golf course is run separately, it's a separate entity, separate business from the HOA. And so they have their P&L, HOA has their P&L, ABD has, as a developer, has a P&L. So, that's the long and short of it. They open up, obviously, everybody's got an opinion about how often they should be open, how late they should be open, but if you're open, you gotta make money. So that's the reason, basically. So.
Hello, my name is Christine. I live in Drain Woods. I have a few questions. In regards to the pool being closed this summer, when it was coming close, 5-10 minutes, not even a warning, the fire alarm was being pulled by the people who work there. Scaring the children to death because that is a loud alarm. That alarm should not be used for that purpose. Hopefully you could put a different thing in place instead of traumatizing kids in a pool by pulling a fire alarm that should only be pulled if there's a fire. You're kind of teaching the wrong lesson. The elders are teaching the kids the wrong lesson because that shouldn't be pulled.
And you have a second question?
I have a second question. My other question is, your new development, I don't know the name, when you go to the end in the back on the left, if you drive back there, all that water is red. When I drove by there once, it looked like mulch. We went out on foot and took pictures of it, and all the water is red. Where's that water leading to? Because it can't be healthy for anybody in the development. And why is that water red? What's being dumped in there? That's a concern.
So you're talking about Garden Hills, correct?
Whichever, yes, probably, yes.
So as advised before, that's actually getting developed by Lennar, so I'll definitely forward the message to him.
And I will gladly send whoever, or I'll put it there, I'll send it to you, the pictures, but it's very concerning.
Yes, so I'll definitely let him know. As far as first question, having the alarm off, to obviously close the pool, I'll definitely make sure attendants to make the people at the pool notify the pool's closing. Just understand that during the summertime, it's very difficult for attendant to obviously have people listen to leave the pool. That was one of the reasons we installed the alarms, but I will make sure to let them know to notify everyone before obviously using the alarm so people know it's coming.
Well, if your hours are listed on the door and everybody follows the hours, pretty much the parents know to get the kids out of the pool and when it's gonna be closing. But when you close it constantly earlier and earlier and the rules change every day, it's hard to know.
I'm not aware of that issue, but I'll definitely look into the hours.
Okay, and then my third and last question is, so we have a large community here, we're gonna have even more people eventually. How are you going to take care of the gym issue? Because that's a very tiny gym for this big of a community. And a lot of people use it, and a lot of people have no other access of anything to do here. There's no basketball, there's nothing else. So what can be done in that aspect?
So the gym that you see now, it's gonna be only gym to be existing. Like I said earlier, there's gonna be more amenities coming. There's gonna be built by Lennar. Like I said, basketball courts, tennis courts, and that's dog park and that sort of thing. As far as the gym goes, that's gonna be the only gym for the community.
Okay, and then so I recently moved from South Florida. A lot of the newer communities, especially the Lennar communities down there, Westlake, all that, they're all putting in their own sports leagues within the communities. They're developing within the sport community, trying to get everybody together, not just pickleball, all different things. Is there ways to implement these things as well?
I'll definitely.
Like a field per se? Because we have a lot of spot for it.
Yeah, but like I said, we have a huge spot for the Garden Hill for the new amenity. And like I said, Lennar is actually gonna build not the obviously HOA, the ABD. So I'll definitely go up to them to neighborhoods and that sort of things.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pepper Gainsley, and I live on, 25 Camden Park Circle. Want to thank our local enforcement for keeping us all safe and for keeping the speeders down. I don't think tonight enough attention has been brought to this gentleman, and also too, there's another gentleman that, state trooper that lives on Lexington Avenue. And very nice guy. And I used to see him whenever we come down, because we come down from Maine, so we're back and forth a lot. So we'd see a state trooper parked, off to the side of the road all the time. So when that was happening, and very infrequently, people would not be speeding. They'd be slowing down. You made a reference earlier, sir, about buses slowing down for people, stopping at certain areas and whatnot to show respect for the bus driver, the children, their safety and whatnot. I can't, I can't say how many times in the last 2 weeks since I've come down from Maine, I've been doing 30, 33, 34 miles an hour in a 30 zone on cruise. People are passing me like a bullet. I drive Corvettes, I drive Mustangs, I drag race up in Maine. I do it all the time, I've done it all my life. But down here, I respectfully try to do the speed limit. I'm not saying I won't get picked up, but we need to pay more, we really need to pay more attention in this community to our speed. This was brought to our attention earlier by this gentleman, and I'm bringing it to your attention again tonight because I have been passed coming towards the gate. I have people coming towards me, passing on the right to try to get in front of me, to get to the gate to come out of our area in Providence, only to wait at the red light because they can't go left, they can't go right, but they're in a big ass hurry to get by me. So I'm saying, I have a question. Where are you guys now? What is causing the problem so that I don't see so much of you as I did 2 years ago when I was building my home?
Right, and that's a good question. Right now, specifically, the Florida Highway Patrol has been tasked with new duties from Governor DeSantis, opposed to troopers dealing with speed or crashes out here or helping civilians. We are now in Texas protecting the border. We are now in Key West protecting the border for all the rafts coming in. We are now in Miami protecting every Jewish school, every Jewish synagogue. We're now being tasked with things that we never thought was part of this job description. But now I have to unfortunately tell Stephen, hey, I'm going for another 2 weeks. I'm going for another. The deployments are like the military right now. So that's why you don't see us now. And it sucks down the agency where they will say at times, because whether it's hurricanes, when we all have to deploy to Georgia or Tallahassee, whatever tears up, because we're that agency where they can say, hey, send 50 from Gainesville, send 50 from Tallahassee, send 50 from Orlando, and we'll have the authority to govern there. We are now at a shortage, and that's why you don't see us sometimes, because the agency themselves will say, no off duty until our force comes back. That's what happens.
Understood, and we very much respect you and the force and everything that you do for all of us, the country and everything. And I guess what I will say is, I'm not a spokesman for the community, but I will say this. When they say slow down for the kids and the school buses and whatnot, slow down for everybody else too. All of us old people too. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm back again. I heard people talking about the ponds and whatnot. There's a pond behind my house, and it's got this green film on it. I'm not from Florida, so I don't know if that's normal or if it's hazardous, or if the spray that you guys were talking about will make that go away, or if you will ever put a fountain there.
Yeah, no, we want to put a fountain because I believe, like I said, there's over 30 ponds in the phase 1 of the Providence. So if I put a fountain on your ponds, you're gonna have to deal with putting fountains in every single ponds. If you have an issue with the ponds where it looks, just send me an email. I'll let the vendor know. I'll copy you an email.
Okay, and they'll like clean it or something?
They typically have it treated,
Treated,
like some type of
okay.
chemicals. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to kind of second the pool thing. I've been there before, and even the sign on the door said 7:30, but at 7:20 it was, we're getting ready to close, you got to go. So wanted to let you know on that. And seconding that, the restaurant. I moved here and saw the sign for bingo, and I was so happy. And I went, it was great. Then it started going downhill. Then they closed it, then it came back. Now we have to have a minimum of $15. We have to, first of all, we have to reserve a dinner spot. We have to spend a minimum of $15 per person to eat. And then we have to buy our bingo cards. And it's a planned menu. It's the same choices every week. And they occasionally will throw in a dinner special, which they don't advertise ahead anymore. So again, I know it's a business, but I feel like just the rest of us, like they could do so much more and they could bring the money. I mean, there's ACI and treats. I know we've all heard of them and we all eat there plenty.
Yes, I'm aware of all the restaurant issues. Obviously, they're closing early. I'll definitely speak to the developer because the owner owns it, so I'll let him know.
I'm Cheryl, Camden Way. I know you said we were going to be getting new amenities towards the back due to Lamar. Are they going to do another pool as well? Or is that one little pool going to be good for?
Yeah, unfortunately, there won't be another pool clubhouse.
No other pool, okay. Now, I know you said in many emails that we're not allowed to use the Lakeside Villas pool. However, while I'm laying on the lounge chair at the lap pool, there's people on the side of me inviting friends over on their cell phone saying, just let them know we're staying at Lakeside Villa number 6. So if they can come and use the only pool that I can use, why can't I go use their pool?
So, do you live in Lakeside?
No,
Okay, so.
but obviously they're staying in Lakeside, so they're like renting in Lakeside. But yet they have a pool and they're using like the only one that I can use.
So, even though they're tenants or guests, they're obviously have a right to use the pool. That's on the documents, so we can't stop that. Obviously, Lakeside pays the extra money for their own pool. So if you live in Lakeside, they're the only residents that could use the Lakeside pool.
And how about the Airbnbs? Are they allowed to use the community pool as well? Or?
Yes, because they're considered as a guest. I know that I gotten some feedback regarding Airbnb tenants. So we are looking into some type of resort fee. We can charge either the homeowner of the actual home or actually the tenants. We're just a little working on the legal document on that sort of thing, but we are working on somewhat either charging them or charging the owner. So that will kind of stop them from using the clubhouse or the pool.
Okay, yeah, because most of those have their own pool, but, and also, I have a used car salesman on my street. Is there any way to get that shut down?
Yeah, if you let us know, I can actually call the
Oh, I
county.
sent you the email, yeah.
And then county will obviously take care of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has a license or not, but a car a week is,
Yeah,
it's a little much.
That's
I'm
a
sure his
simple-
guest list is like a mile long.
yeah, that's a simple fix for us. If you just let us know the address, and I'll
Okay.
let the county know, and they usually take care of it.
And how about the golf carts parked in front of the front windows on Lanai?
That's a violation. We typically send the letters.
Okay,
We
because
go around that.
it's still there, even though you said, and the drywall van is still there, even though you said.
So I don't want you to understand, when we send out a violation, there's a process. So
Okay.
there's like a 30-day notice, and we follow up to the second, and then obviously we fine and take it to attorney on the third violation. So I'll definitely check on the status on those things.
Yeah, because I know this is going on like the third month now,
Okay.
but again, your board only goes out and checks on things during the day. So if this stuff happens after 6 p.m., it's a free-for-all back there.
Yeah, but if you don't mind sending a reminder email, I'll definitely do a follow-up on it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey everybody, AB, Camden Park Circle. First of all, thank you, Willie. Secondly, in our preserve, there's still a trail, okay? And it's not like every day, but it was probably about a month and a half ago. There were some people driving a 3-wheeler and 4-wheeler back there. So I went to them and I was like, you guys aren't allowed to be back in here. And they told me that they were residents of Providence and that they said that you like gave them a pass that were allowed to do that. Do you do that or no?
No.
So I got conned. And one more question, with the basketball court, has Lennar given you an estimation of when that's gonna be done?
So because what we consider lot counts, and because the size of the lots, that's sort of, once the lot's finalized with the Garden Hills, they haven't given us a date, but I know that Lennar is one of the biggest builders in the country, so they decided to build amenities. It's gonna be much quicker than obviously what ABD will do it. But the date hasn't been given just because they just started it, but that's in the works.
Thank you.
He was asking, did you get that guy permission to drive that 3-wheeler back there?